Welcome students to the chapter 9 The Time Machine program BSc subject language English 4th semester session number 29. The chapter as well as the topic of this session is The Time Machine. I am Ravi Kumar A, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Government First Aid College. Created this PPT along with Dr. Suresh SB as ACD. The Time Machine, an invention, H.G. Wells. The note on the author, Herbert George Wells, 1866 to 1946. H.G. Wells was a prolific English novelist, journalist, sociologist, and historian. He is best known for his science fiction novels, The Time Machine and The War of the Worlds, The Son of Domestic Fiction, The Time Machine and The War of the Worlds. The son of domestic servants who became small shopkeepers. He had to take odd jobs at the drapers and chemist to sustain him in adversity. And here we have a quotation quoted by Herbert George Wells. We all have our time machines, don't we? Those that take us back our memories, and those that carry us forward our dreams. See, this is how we are moving in our time span, where we are immediately, whenever we wanted to go somewhere in our dreams, in our memories, we go to and fro. Herbert George Wells, at the age of 18, however, he won a scholarship to study biology in London. Graduated from London University in 1888 and became a science teacher. His first published book was a textbook of biology, but it was his first published novel, The Time Machine, that made him successful as a writer. He wrote many more scientific novels like The Invisible Man and many short stories. Though he excelled in astronomical fantasies, and his Martian creation has become a part of popular mythology. He focused on concerns for man and society. The Time Machine, a science fiction novella, popularized the concept of time travel and coined the word time machine. The book has inspired radio plays, audio dramas, feature films, and serials, comic books, and sequels by other authors in popular culture. Here we have the picture of Herbert George Wells, sitting in a time machine model. Probably it's not during the picturization of the movie. The popular, yes. Novella is a short novel or a narrative fiction. Its length is shorter than a novel but longer than a short story. The word is derived from the Italian novella, meaning new. As a genre, it began developing during the early Italian Renaissance, when Italian Renaissance was developing. As a literary genre, Giovanni Boccaccio's Demarcation is considered to be the first novella. It developed and refined during the 18th and 19th centuries. Through the novella, the realistic mode emerged in literature. Features of a novella. Novellas are short novels. There is no space for subplots, so they tend to focus on a single conflict or plot. As the plot is minimal, the characters that appear are also few in novella. They generally welcome one or two central characters and maybe a handful of secondary characters. They move fast as the storyline is limited and the characters are few. They are compelling stories that move quickly and communicate a single point of view. Novellas generally adhere to unity of time and place. A novella is a short novel that is a narrative prose fiction whose length is shorter than that of most novels but longer than most short stories. No official definition exists regarding the number of pages or words necessary for a story to be considered a novella or a novel. A work of fiction between 2000 to 49,999 words is considered a novella. Once a book hits the 50,000 word mark, it is generally considered a novel. However, a standard novel is around 80,000 words. So, books between 50,000 to 79,919 words 99 words may be called short novels. The difference between a short story and a novella is literally the word count. Typical short story consists of 3,000 to 7,500 words. However, there are short stories that run longer. The novella is about 10,000 to 40,000 words. As the plot is minimal, the characters and that appear are also very few in a novel. They generally have one or two central characters and maybe a handful of secondary characters. The novella is one of the richest and most rewarding of literary forms. It allows for more extended development of a theme and character than does the short story without making the elaborate structural demands of the full length book. Thus, it provides an intense, detailed exploration of its subject, providing to some degree both the concentrated focus of the story and the broad scope of the novel. There is no space for subplots, so they tend to focus on a single conflict or plot. In this case, in the novella generally features fewer conflicts than a novel. The conflicts also have more time to develop than in short stories. Novellas may or may not be divided into chapters and are often intended to be read as a single sitting. As a short story, although in a novella, a white space is often used to divide the sections and therefore the novella maintains a single effect. The novella is generally not as formally experimental as the long story and the novella can be, and it usually lacks the subplots, the multiple points of view and the generic adaptability that are common in the novel. It is most often concerned with the personal and emotional development rather than with the larger social sphere. The novella generally retains something of the unity of impression that is a hallmark of the short story, but it also contains a more highly developed characterization and a more luxuriant description. They move fast as the storyline is limited and the characters are few. They are compelling stories that move quickly and communicate a single point of view. Subject matter traditionally novelettes are tended to focus on whimsical sentimental themes. The modern day novelette, though, is more like the novella in that it can encompass different genres like scientific fiction, drama, or historical short fiction. Complexity. In terms of storytelling ambition, novellettes tend to split the difference between novellas and short forms like short stories. Novellettes tend to have a greater focus on character development, world building, and plotting than short stories. So, however, the stories are generally more concise and focused than a novella a length work, as the word count is often too restrictive to tell a story, long story. So here we have the reference section, and we comes to an end. And thank you. And if you want more information about this time machine and its summary and about novella, short story, and novelettes, you can download information from these references. And thank you. That's all from me. And we will meet in the next session.